Welcome to Learning to Glow, a show about wellness, skin health, and self-development. I'm your host, Jess. I'm a mom, entrepreneur, and skincare expert. I'm so excited to share tips on how to achieve healthy skin and bring amazing guests in the field of health, fitness, aging gracefully, and personal growth. Let's explore all different ways we can take care of ourselves as women, both inside and out, to truly shine. So let's get glowing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. I hope everyone is doing well. October is historically a very busy time of year for me. One of the busiest months of the year, actually. This month has been absolutely bananas, but a lot of fun events. I was in a wedding. I just celebrated my 17th wedding anniversary. I've had loved ones' birthdays. Halloween is almost here, a holiday that we love in this family. And I don't know about where you guys are listening from, but here in Southern California, it's been hot, especially when you're sitting on a baseball field in the middle of the day for hours and there's no shade. But love it. I know one day when baseball's over, I will definitely miss it. I love watching my son play, but I have been complaining about the heat. And so this actually has to do with today's episode. I am sharing concepts from a very special book, The 4 Agreements. And this episode, I'm going to be breaking down why this book has literally changed my life and examples of why and how we can use it in our everyday lives. So I won't talk too much here. I hope you enjoy it. As always, please let me know what you think. Let me know by sharing a message, leaving a review, and please share it with a friend. Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with me today for a solo episode. I've been wanting to do an episode about this book and the way that it's changed my life for a while now, and I finally am sitting down to record this episode because I think everyone that I know in my life, most people that I know in my life, not everyone, had never heard of this book. And for such an easy, quick, simple read and how profound it is, I just feel like this needs to be shared. I've bought and given this book away so many times. I actually don't have a copy right now, but I'm going to be buying another one because this is the type of book that you reread and you get something different out of it every time. The book is called The 4 Agreements. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I was introduced to this book, I think around maybe 20 plus years ago. And there's a very special person in my life named David, and he married my husband and I. He used to have a community center in Tustin, California, and he's a pastor at an Episcopalian church, but he created this community of yoga, music, and he's a teacher. He would take a book and go through it in a class setting. And that's how I met him. A girlfriend of mine told me, you have to meet this man. He does these classes. The next class is on the 4 Agreements. And I was like, okay. So I went with her, and that was the most amazing experience. And I knew how special David was and how wise he is. And the book and the way he explained it was so incredible. And I love when you kind of break down a concept to get the most out of it and to see how it can apply into our lives for the better, to better our lives. So fast forward, I asked David several years later when I was getting married to marry us, to officiate our wedding. And he actually used some of the 4 agreements in the ceremony. And it was just like the most amazing, beautiful ceremony to me because of how special what this wisdom that is in this book is, and how I think even for my guests who were in the wedding, like just to hear about the 4 agreements and how amazing they are, it was just a very special way to incorporate the lessons and the agreements into a ceremony. It was just so beautiful. So let's get into a little bit of what the Toltec wisdom is, which is what Ruiz draws from in this book. And then I'm going to walk you through the 4 agreements. They're simple, and just give you a few ways why this is so meaningful and how it can be helpful in like literally everyday life. So this book is based on an ancient Toltec wisdom, and it basically shows how the beliefs we make with ourselves and others shape our reality. It's talking about how you can take a self-limiting belief, replace that with these new agreements, and how you can live a happier life with more love, with freedom. Before I talk about the agreements, I want to just touch on the Toltec wisdom. The Toltecs were an ancient civilization that lived in what is now central Mexico, and they say around 900 to 1200 AD. Their spiritual and philosophical teachings were preserved and passed down through generations of healers, teachers, shamans. And Don Miguel Ruiz, he was raised in a family of healers and trained in these traditions and brought them into the world for us, into the modern world. His mission is to simplify the Toltec philosophy so that it could help people break free from suffering, emotional suffering, and reclaim their freedom when it comes to their brains and their minds. And he did such a good job with this book. And again, there's many books by this author, so you can go check him out. I'll definitely link the book at the end of the podcast. So 4 agreements. The first one is be impeccable with your word. And I love this one. It's about speaking with integrity, saying what you mean. This is also avoiding gossip, or I think the biggest one, I think the hardest part of this one for me personally is self-criticism. So, yes, we're speaking about other people and all of these agreements. Like, how can we be impeccable with our word when it comes to other people, but also ourselves? I think that is something that is really one of the most important key takeaways when it comes to this book. So, the self criticism part, the way that we talk to ourselves, being mean to ourselves, that is all included in this agreement. That is not something that is serving us. And if the words that we're using cause harm to ourselves or others, that is not being impeccable with your word. Words are powerful. So, something I've learned over the years, especially after life coaching, is being careful with the words that we use, the thoughts that are constantly going through our brains. And the first step to that is to become aware of them. And I think a lot of people just get used to these tracks that keep playing around and around in our brains. And we don't realize that is something that is unconscious that we have to be conscious of. We have to become aware of those thoughts if we want to make a change, if we want to stop doing that going forward. And I think this is one thing about this agreement that I struggle with the most. Some people might struggle with the gossiping, like being, gossiping with a friend. And that's could be something that somebody struggles with that's listening. I think that after you become aware of them and you can start to notice, okay, I'm doing this again, this doesn't serve me, that's when we can sort of make that switch. And this is a practice. Like, this isn't something that we're going to get right away after reading this book. It's something that the first step is to like become more aware of it, to notice it, and then we can make a change from there. I think another thing is complaining. And I've been talking about this with some people in my life. And say something happens in your life and you need to process it. I think that's an important step, like processing it with a friend or processing it with a loved one, and then kind of moving on. Because at that point, after you've been saying the things that you need to say or getting things off of your chest, what next? Like, when is it going to stop? And I saw a video the other day that I really loved about this topic. She was talking about, this woman was talking about complaining, and she said, you're not complaining, you're creating. And so I was like, oh, wow, like that's good to know. If you are constantly talking about certain things all the time, maybe that's going to bring more of that into your life. So be aware. Again, like I said, consciousness is a big part of this first agreement. It's another reason to take a look at what's going on in our brain. So impeccable means without sin. Another point of view with this agreement is use your voice for truth, use it for kindness, whether that is for you or for others. I think this is another point of view on this agreement that I have seen is stay true to your commitment. If you say something, I'm going to be at your house at 9, stay true to that. It's about honoring commitments, knowing that others can trust you because you said you would be there and they can depend on you because you are impeccable with your word. If you say it, you're going to do it. You're going to be there. But I think this one's especially hard on ourselves again. Say you're on a health journey and you made a plan to go to the gym, or you're like, tomorrow I'm going to walk 10,000 steps. It's easier to say, never mind, to yourself than to someone else. It's easier to not be impeccable with your word because who's going to know? Like just you. But that's why it's even more important to do that, especially if you have a goal or something that you're trying to reach or a journey that you're going through. If you can trust yourself to do what you say you're going to do, that's going to build your confidence. And we've talked about this before on the podcast. That confidence is going to help deliver your goals. You're going to take the right actions because you can trust yourself. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And then that just can domino effect into all the other areas of your life as well. So being impeccable with your word is honoring that, even if it's just to yourself. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. What others say or do is a reflection of their reality, not yours. When you stop taking things personally, you become immune to criticism and judgment. Okay, this one is so hard. It is so easy to say, don't take it personal. I've said it to others, I've said it to my kids, but in reality, this is a tough one. This is where you might need to do a little self coaching and really be conscious. If someone acts in a way that you don't like and it feels awful, not taking it personal can be a real challenge. And we've all been in these situations, right? I love this quote: nothing others do is because of you, it is because of themselves. So everyone has something going on behind the scenes, right? We have stuff that we aren't sharing with the world. We're just keeping it to ourselves. And same with everyone. Everyone is going through something hard. Everyone has something behind the scenes. And when it comes to not taking things personal, it's good to keep that in mind, right? If something is going on with someone and they're acting a certain way, we don't know what that is. It's easy to be like, well, goodness, what did I do? Is there something that I did that they're acting this way? Say somebody's being rude to you or they're acting in a way that you don't like. It is definitely hard to not take that stuff personal, but that's why this is definitely a practice. It's easier said than done. And it's just a reminder for our life. We won't get it done perfectly, but these are just little reminders that many times we suffer unnecessarily, especially when it comes to taking things personal, because then there goes our day, there goes our mood, because we're taking things on that maybe we just need to let go. And that is, again, this is a hard one. I feel like the second step is a really hard one. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. Avoid creating stories in your head about what others think, feel, or mean. So, what do we do instead? We communicate clearly. That's what we do. I think that life coaching has helped me so much in this area as well. I mean, how many times have we been in a situation when someone is acting a certain way and you can blow it up in your mind? I know I have. Maybe you text somebody and they don't text you back. And there might be a million reasons in your head of why that is. That maybe they're mad at me. Oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't have said that last night at dinner. I shouldn't have said anything. They're mad at me. We can easily blow things up in our brains and assume these crazy outcomes when in reality, we have no idea what's going on in someone else's mind and what somebody else's brain is going through. I mean, we know our brains are crazy. There's crazy in their head too. So not having these assumptions is, again, this takes work. It's simple, right? These are all so simple, but so not easy. Maybe you're assuming a person's intentions when in reality, we just don't know. One of the things about this agreement, a real takeaway, is that a lot of conflicts that we have, disagreements or whatever, are from the foundational issue is we're assuming things and we're misinterpreting something in our relationships. And the best way to avoid it is to talk about it. Don't assume. We've all heard that saying, assuming is making an ass out of you and me. There's a reason why there's a saying like that. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Being curious is a great way to go into a situation where you're assuming something. I always like to be really curious. What is that person thinking? Like, what is going on with that situation? And sometimes it's as easy as like, I don't know, and I'm not going to try to figure it out in my brain because that's just guessing and it's not based in reality and it's causing suffering and pain. That is so easy with our brains. Like our thought process and the things that we can think and believe can be the cause of so much pain and suffering. I know I've been there. Everyone has. And so another reminder, maybe this is the opportunity to say, hey, let me question this. Let me ask from a place of curiosity and not anger or, just assuming the worst. This is also something that takes practice. So the last agreement is always do your best. I love this one. Your best changes from day to day. We're doing our best with what we have at the moment. And doing your best frees you from guilt and regret, and it helps you grow. The example that David gave me all those years ago that stuck with me is our best is going to fluctuate from day to day, right? If I'm sick with the flu and I'm home in bed, my best that day is going to be a lot different than if I slept for 8 hours and I woke up feeling amazing. My best on the day that I had the flu is to keep liquids down. It might be to just make sure that my kids are safe and fed, and that's it. And that's my best. Whereas there are other days where my best is going to look amazing. Like I'm going to get all of my things done on my to-do list. I'm going to do everything with intention. I'm going to be able to live in a way that just feels good, because I'm putting in all the effort that I want to, and I'm doing everything in my day the best as I can. And I think that that's something to consider when you're talking about doing your best. I mean, doing your best could be with your work. It could be when you're going to the gym. It could be when you're dealing with a loved one and the way you communicate. You're going to do your best. Like, are we going to be, it doesn't say be perfect. Number 4 says do your best. We know our best will change. It'll change daily. It'll change if you're, mostly women listening to this, if you're listening and you're on your day 1 of your cycle. That's going to look a lot different than when you're in your most happy phase of your cycle. If my son has an injury and he's going to a game, his best that day is going to look different than when his body's feeling really, really strong. We shoot for our best, and that changes. That changes from day to day. The quote I like here is, under any circumstance, always do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. So we're not going to have those negative feelings when we do our best, when we show up doing everything that we can, even if our best isn't as good as the day before. I think the one thing these agreements invite us to do is to become more conscious. Like I mentioned, we are in autopilot for so much of our day and so much of our lives. It's easy to let our brain think the same thoughts, even when those thoughts are not helpful. They're not serving us. These agreements are simple. It's not a challenging concept, but they're not easy. They're not easy at all. And there are certain agreements I struggle with more than others. And I just feel like keeping this in the forefront of your mind when you're living your life and being intentional with your life it's life-changing. These simple concepts are so deeply ingrained in everything that we do. So I think this book is just like, it's changed my life for sure. So I would love to hear your thoughts when it comes to these agreements. This book is such a quick read. I do look at it like yoga. Like it is something that you can continually go back to and look at. It's a practice, and it's not something that we're going to get right every time. But life is definitely better when you incorporate these things. I know that for sure. So send me a message, leave me a review, or just tell me in any way that you can communicate with me what you thought of this, what you think of the 4 agreements. if this is something that you've already had a pulse on, this is ancient wisdom. So this has been interpreted a million different ways in modern day. And I see a lot of these concepts in life coaching. So it's something that I've seen a lot. Is it something that you guys have seen a lot? Is it something that you've practiced or been conscious of? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you're somebody who journals, I like this book for journaling. I feel like you could reflect on each of the agreements as a journal entry and think of an example in your life where you can improve in that area. Or if you want to break down one agreement and be like, okay, which agreement do I struggle the most with? Which agreement do I break most often? And how can I work on that today for this one day? That is a great way to use a journal. That's a great way to write things down and get them out of your head. I love journaling. I'm so into journaling. I think it's so powerful. So this is a great book to do that with. If you've never read the book, I will leave a link in the show notes so you can check it out. It's worth the read. It's great to have on hand. I think this is really great to talk to kids about. And I have talked about every single one of these agreements with my kids. There's been something that's come up in their life. It could be with a friend. It could be something that happened at school. And there's a way to put the 2 and 2 together with these agreements and help them with their life and like little situations that come up that feel very heavy. There's a great perspective here, and it really helps with less suffering and just growth. So let me know if you guys get the book and what you think of it. And thanks for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe and review so we can reach more people who want to learn to glow alongside us. See you next time.